I just got rejected from a job that I was perfectly qualified for, and while I was bummed, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to me. Rather than a failure, it was a diagnosis. If you're struggling to get back into the corporate world, maybe it's not because you're broken. Maybe it's because you've outgrown the container. Here are 3 signs that you're officially unemployable. I had several interviews with this company, and after my last one, when they asked me to come in person, I thought I crushed it. I went through and met the entire team. They asked me several questions regarding the position. It was a job that I've typically been able to do in my sleep. I've been organized, I've been able to adjust and get a lot of coordination going, which is what they were looking for. They were so impressed that one interviewer even told me that most people come into this job not having a single clue about what the position is, and that I knew every single aspect of the role. I walked out of there almost certain that I had the job. My references, when they reported back to me saying that they got the call, even they thought I got the job. HR even told me that when they call these references, it's because they're ready to make an offer. Then I get a phone call a few days later, and HR calls me shocked. She said the team pulled back from the offer because of one reference timeline. And she told me, small discrepancies like that can ruin your career. And as soon as she said that, I couldn't even be mad because I didn't really want a career. I didn't want a home in a company. I just wanted a check that can fund my vision. I tried so hard to make my entrepreneurial journey look corporate and hope that maybe they'd see my skills, but it didn't really matter because they passed me up anyways. I was in my head for a couple days reflecting on what I could have done differently, what I could have done better, and I couldn't help but to think they couldn't have passed me up off of just one reference, right? But if they did do all that digging on one reference, they likely found my digital footprint. If they went down my LinkedIn, went through my experiences, saw AYKO visions, did some more digging, went down a rabbit hole, then they probably saw this. And if they did, they didn't see an employee. They saw a flight risk. They saw a woman building a kingdom and not someone that will passively sit back and build theirs. Even if I've shown that I could revamp their system in 6 months to save them several years, it wasn't enough. They were protecting themselves from me, and God was protecting me from settling. The thing is, you can't really hide founder energy. And when they saw me, they saw a CEO trying to be an employee. And truth be told, they weren't wrong. I was temporary. I was looking for a funding source and not a home. They couldn't risk having me and then losing me. I get that. And that leads me to sign number 1. Your founder identity is so loud that you can't even hide it. Employers will see your talent and see your skills, and they will still have to pass you up. That just means it's time for you to step into who you really are. I reflected on all the technicalities that cost me this job, and I really did my best to mold myself to fit into this corporate world. The more I sat with this, the more it sank in that I did more work to hide myself so that I could fit into this mold. And inevitably, they sniffed it out when they couldn't make sense of my references or the timeline in my resume. I realized it's kind of hard making sense of contract work without saying that you run a business. And without having those jobs in your resume, how else can you describe your skills? You just can't. Instead of being devastated or begging them to reconsider me, I actually had a strange sense of relief. I knew that I didn't want to be locked on site 5 days, 40 hours a week. Even when I came up with a plan to work my business around this new schedule that I was hoping to get, I felt myself getting miserable thinking about the freedom I throw away and losing my autonomy while working. So yes, I massage the truth in my resume like I've seen everyone else do to get jobs. But I also know what's meant for me will never miss. And this, while it would have been really nice to get a job, it would have disrupted the journey that I've been so steadfast on in building and growing my business. So here's sign number 2. You stop asking, what did I do wrong? And start asking, why wasn't this a good fit? You find acceptance that what's meant for you will always be for you, and that you won't mold into anything that's not aligned with your purpose. I'm not gonna hold you, I was pretty bummed that I didn't get the job, but I also knew where it came from. God has me on a mission, and it is not my duty to drift from it. So, what now? I go back and forth with this because while I do need to find a steady check until I'm able to successfully grow my business full time, I've really been sitting with what the next steps look like for me, because while I know that it's just a matter of time until everything that I've been working on is taking off, again, that's not something that I can rush. So before I go in and apply for 50 more jobs, I really need to reflect on how to maximize my time and my true identity as a rigorous entrepreneur, and how to balance the two. And in this moment, I have to ask myself, what is it that I can work with? That led me right back to my own intellectual property with the Visionary Readiness Handbook and Unlocking Business Consciousness. And while this last job wasn't the perfect fit, there is space for jobs that are, but they have to fit into the mold of who I really am as an entrepreneur. The more I got real with myself, the more I started connecting the pieces. So if you're watching this and you're wondering what I have to offer for you after saying that I didn't get the job to fund my vision and actively still putting the pieces together, well, guess what? My financial struggle is actually the perfect case study. As such, I am now beta testing my own survival kit. The frameworks that I've written and teach on through the Visionary Readiness Handbook and Unlocking Business Consciousness are the exact tools that I use to stay sane and to expand my visionary mindset as I grow my own business. And I am proving in real time that these two resources work under fire. Even in the midst of the storm, even through the hiccups, even through the no's, I am actively building assets that will replace the salary that I was once desperately trying to get. And this leads me to sign number 3. Corporate safety feels intuitively dangerous to you, and you'd rather bet on your own systems, even if they're a work in progress. If you're ready to build out your own systems, best believe I've been there. Me not getting this job couldn't have come at a better time, because it made me actively look at what I need to really fund my vision and keep going. And in this moment, I've already built the systems to be able to keep me going. Even though we all like the idea of a safety net, especially as entrepreneurs, I'm here to show you and prove to you in real time how to break past corporate safety and establish your own freedom. You're watching me become a testament to what I knew I was already capable of. I want to close by showing you a shot that I took the other day. It was storming and pouring rain, but the sun still broke out and shined at the same time. It dawned on me that most people wait for the rain to pass before they start building. But when you are a visionary, you build in the rain. I reached out to my auntie because she had been on my heart and has been part of my journey in getting closer to God. And she shared a song with me called Made New by Jason Nelson and Madison Ryan Ward. The song itself is so beautiful, but it's been on repeat for me for these specific lyrics. All it takes is willingness to trust in me being God, and I'll make you better than you've been. And then later, forgetting what's behind, my future's on the line, I've been made new. All it takes is willingness to trust in God, and He'll make you better than you've been. If you recognize these signs, stop trying to force yourself back into a box. It's okay that you're a flight risk, and it's okay that you're running on new software. So stop looking for a job that's a square peg when you are the full circle. Stay focused on your purpose and keep building out your work. It will be worth it. If you're looking for some guidance on how to start your journey, check out the links below, and I'll see you in the next video.